Derby County and Paul Warne will be hoping to rectify their poor performances as of January, heading into the game this weekend against Charlton Athletic. It's an important fixture for the Rams, and it's a good game for them to try and find their feet again. Charlton currently sit 18th in the league table and have recently parted ways with their former manager. It's time for Derby to make an impression on this league. Let's take a look at the fixture now. Let's see who the danger men are for Charlton and what could potentially happen in this game. If you're enjoying this Derby County content, I've made a whole host of videos this week. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the like button on this video, as it really helps my YouTube channel. So, as you can see on screen, Derby and Charlton go head to head at the Valley at 3 p.m. on February the 3rd, which is this upcoming Saturday. It's going to be one of them games for Derby County. Last year, obviously, we beat them at home 2-0, but we lost 1-0 away from home after dominating them for 90 minutes. After a whole ordeal at the weekend of Derby getting booed off at half time, Conor Hourihane getting cheered and jeered as he got substituted, I think it's time for some changes for Derby. What those changes will be, we'll get into that in a minute, but it's important that into this game things change. The performances haven't been good enough, and there's not many players that can really walk away from this recent run of fixtures in a good mood, in my opinion, because yes, we've won I think it was 3 out of 7 in January, but for me that's not good enough for a team trying to get promotion. That's 9 out of 21 points on wins. I think we drew 1, so we got 10 points out of 21, which for me isn't good enough. So it's a busy period in February. It starts playing Charlton, it finishes playing Charlton. Let's take a look at the league table, where Derby could find themselves come the end of the match. So, as you can see on screen now, Derby currently find themselves in 4th position, 3 points behind Portsmouth, 1 point behind Bolton, and level on points with Peterborough. As we know, a win could take Derby to the top of the table, but Portsmouth face Oxford United on Tuesday night in what could take Portsmouth 6 points clear of us, but we would have a game in hand. It is a busy period, and Pompey know that more than anybody else. They've lost twice in their previous 5 games, so heading into that Oxford game, it's going to be very important to see who comes out on top. Obviously, best for all parties, including us, would be a draw, because that way Oxford don't build any momentum and get closer to us, and Portsmouth don't pull themselves too far away. So for me, I think in that game we need to see a draw, and that would be the most important thing heading into Derby's game on Saturday. We scroll down now and look at the bottom of the table with Charlton Athletic. They're currently just 4 points away from Reading in 21st place, and they haven't won in their previous 5 games, only collecting 2 points. We're going to look into their form in a moment, but they need to pick up a result this weekend. They need to keep building that gap to Reading. Obviously, Reading have a game in hand on Charlton, who have played 29, Reading 28. So it's massively important for Charlton to pick up as many points as they can to save themselves from a potential relegation. I personally don't think they're going to be in that much trouble. They've done some good business in the January window, bringing in the likes of Freddie Ladapo, who I think is going to be an excellent striker for them over the coming months. But let's take a look into Charlton and Derby's recent form, and let's have a discussion about what the game could be like. So, as you can see here, Derby have picked up 7 points in their previous 5 games out of a maximum of 15. So, not exactly to the standard that Derby County would have been expecting. So obviously Derby haven't been at the standard that we all expect, but we keep picking up these little results. Obviously the loss at Reading was disappointing, a very disappointing performance. The same with the loss versus Bradford and Peterborough. But at some point, Derby have to put those poor performances behind them, and I think this is the game to do it. You look at Charlton's form, they've lost 3 of the last 5, collecting only 2 points in that time period. And for me, it's it's going to be difficult because Charlton are going to be wanting to make a statement and prove that they aren't a relegation candidate team in this league, and we need to prove that we have the capabilities of automatic promotion. Shall we take a look at the Charlton Athletic squad and who will be taking charge of their game? So recently Charlton parted ways with their previous manager Appleton, and at the moment Curtis Fleming is taking charge. Obviously, this could change by the weekend. I'm recording this on Monday on the 29th of January. We play on the 3rd. So there's a big time period before the game. But if anything changes, so there is a big time period before the game. And hopefully this is up to date as of Thursday. I might have to jig around a few bits and make a few changes. But Curtis Fleming will be at the dugout heading into the game at the weekend as of right now. There's a familiar face in the Charlton Athletic team with Louis Watson, former Derby County player. He was a player who left at the end of the administration season. He moved to Luton and now finds himself on loan at Charlton Athletic. He has started only 7 matches this season, getting 2 assists, but is on his, I think it's his first proper loan spell, and he's still finding his feet in professional football. At 22 years old, he'll be hoping that he can find himself a permanent home where he's going to be playing regular football matches. I personally was a big fan of Louis when he was at Derby County. I thought he didn't get the opportunities he deserved, and I feel like that looks like it's the same over in Charlton. So that's a key name to keep your eye out for if he was to make a start at the weekend. As you can see on the screen now, Charlton have been very, very busy in this January window. They've signed 3 players on loan in Tyreek Backinson, Lewis Florini, Freddie Ladapo, but they've also brought in Connor Coventry from West Ham, Macaulay Gillespie from Plymouth, and Romani Edmonds-Green from Huddersfield. They've been very busy so far in January, bringing in 6 players in total. And looking at the outs, they haven't let anybody go in this January period, apart from Corey Blackett-Taylor, who joined us on a loan deal till the end of the season, but we paid them so that he can play. It's confusing, but apart from Corey Blackett-Taylor, no one has left in January. So as we can see, their danger man of Alfie May with 16 goals this season in League One. Like, you can also see Corey Blackett-Taylor on the list, but we don't have to worry about him anymore. He's our player now, and that's massively important heading into this game. Obviously, you've got the likes of Freddie Ladapo to find his feet at Charlton, Lewis Florini, who's recently recovered from injury after joining the club from Man City. So that could be a very interesting group of players. There's George Dobson. There's a lot of talk about him on Twitter potentially leaving, but he is the captain of the club. And the rumour is he's going to a club in Hungary, so we'll have to see if that comes to fruition before the game. Despite Louis Watson only playing a handful of starts and only getting around 780 minutes this season, he is 3rd on their assist chart, which just goes to show how Charlton have been this season. Alfie May hasn't even picked up a single assist this season. So let's get into the team prediction now. I'm predicting, first off, a change in formation. I believe we're going to move away from the 4-2-3-1 to get an extra body in midfield. So I believe we're going to play a little something like this. I'm going to put together my team now, and you let me know what your team is down in the comments. So I'm going to predict the same back 4 that we played with against Cheltenham. Hopefully we can get Ryan Niambi back, but I'm not quite sure if he'll be back and have trained to be able to play this weekend. So I'm not even sure if he's going to make the lineup. Obviously, Kane Wilson is quality on the ball. He adds a different dimension at right back. And I'm sticking with Louis Sibley at left back. I thought he's one of the only players who can take praise from the game the other day with Cheltenham. I thought he was excellent, barring a moment of madness where he nearly gave away a penalty, but the ref didn't give it. We know what the refs are like in League One. The midfield 3, I want Bird as that sitting midfielder, and I think it's time to give Conor Hourihane a rest. I want Thompson and Forner just ahead of Max Bird. It adds a bit of legs and energy in that midfield, and it doesn't mean that Bird's got to do all the running to make up for Conor Hourihane and his ageing legs. So something I think he struggles with is the recovery runs and things like that, heading into defensive transitions and things like that. So that's something which I'd personally change. And the front three, I have taken Blackett-Taylor out, and it's nothing to do with how he played at the weekend or how he's been since. But I just think we need to go as fluid and comfortable as we can go. Obviously, Blackett-Taylor was bought in for a big sum of money for us, considering we've not spent since 2020. But we've got to make sure and bleed him in properly, not just chucking him in and letting him falter, essentially. But I think this front three of Barkhuizen, Collins and Mendez-Laing could be pivotal to winning the game. So, Derby County are heading to Charlton. I think we're going to come away 2-0 winners. I said that in my predictions video yesterday or the day before. Make sure you check that out. And then tomorrow there's going to be a review of our January window as the window closes today on Thursday as this video is posted. So let me know what you think is going to happen. Make sure you hit that like button, comment and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.